It began on a cold evening in Boston. The wind carried a sharp chill, the kind that made people walk fast with their heads down. But Ethan Cooper, a 29-year-old architect with tired eyes, didn't walk. He stood still at the edge of the Charles River, watching the sunset turn the water into liquid gold. He had come here after a long day, needing air, needing silence, needing something he couldn't name. A few steps away, a woman stood with a sketchbook in hand. Her name was Maya Rivers, a 27-year-old illustrator who lived more in her imagination than in the real world. Her hands moved lightly, sketching the skyline, capturing the exact shade of orange she saw. They stood there for several minutes without speaking, watching the same sunset with two different hearts. Ethan noticed her sketching. Maya noticed him noticing. She smiled slightly. He smiled back. That was all. No introductions, no numbers exchanged. Just two strangers, sharing a moment neither would forget. Life continued. But sometimes, one sunset is enough to mark the beginning of a story, even an unsuccessful one. A week later, Ethan found himself in a small cafe downtown. He sat with his laptop open, drowning in work he didn't want to finish. Then he looked up and froze. Maya was there, alone, sketching again, her hair tied loosely behind her ear. He hesitated. Should he say something? Should he stay quiet? Before he could decide, she looked up and caught him staring. Her eyes widened in recognition. "You're the sunset guy," she said with a small laugh. "And you're the sketchbook girl," he replied. She closed her sketchbook and nodded to the empty chair. "Sit." They talked for hours. About sunsets, about dreams, about regrets, about everything and nothing. Ethan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Comfort. Maya felt something she hadn't felt in years. Safety. When they finally walked out of the cafe, the winter air felt warmer. Still no numbers exchanged. Still no plan to meet again. But both of them walked away smiling. Sometimes love doesn't begin with a spark. Sometimes it begins with a quiet warmth. A month passed. Life swept them both forward. But then, one snowy evening, it happened again. Ethan boarded a train, tired, drained, and found Maya sitting alone, drawing tiny snowflakes on the fogged-up window. He laughed softly. She looked up. "You again," she said. "You again," he echoed. This time they didn't wait. This time they gave names. This time they exchanged numbers. A line had finally been crossed. A door finally opened. Neither knew where it led, but both stepped inside. Maya and Ethan started meeting after work. He took her to rooftops where he liked to sketch buildings. She took him to art galleries where she described paintings better than any museum guide ever could. He listened. She felt heard. He shared pieces of his past, a fiancé who left him without a goodbye. She shared pieces of her past, parents who loved each other but never loved her enough. Their wounds recognized each other. Their hearts softened. They were dating. They weren't together. But they were something. Something unnamed. Something delicate. Something real. People around them noticed. Strangers noticed. But the only two people who didn't realize it were Maya and Ethan. One evening, while walking through the park, Maya's phone buzzed repeatedly. She ignored it. But Ethan saw the name flash. Liam, Germany. "Who's Liam?" he asked lightly. She hesitated. "My ex." Ethan stopped walking. "I didn't know you were still in touch." "We're not," she said quickly. "He just messages sometimes. Ethan forced a smile. Do you still love him? No, she said too fast, too sharp, too defensive. He didn't believe her. She didn't believe herself. Something in the air shifted that night. A quiet crack formed, not big enough to destroy anything, but enough to weaken everything. Despite the crack, they grew closer. Maya started drawing him more often. His hands, his profile, his eyes when he wasn't looking. Ethan started thinking of her when he woke up, about her laugh, her stubbornness, her warmth. One night, while sitting by the river where they first met, Ethan finally said, Maya, I think I don't, she whispered. He froze. Her eyes were filled with fear, not love. I like what we have, she said, but I can't. I can't do more. Why? Because I break things I love. You won't break me, Ethan whispered. You don't know that. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. That night, they sat side by side, but with a distance between them, wider than the river flowing before them. 2 weeks later, Maya disappeared. No calls, no messages, no cafe meetings, no train encounters. Ethan tried calling. No answer. He tried texting. No response. Until one night, his phone rang. Maya? She didn't speak. He heard breathing. Then a whisper. Ethan, I need to tell you something. His heart pounded. Liam came back, she said softly. Silence. I didn't plan it. I didn't expect it. But seeing him again, I realized I still have pieces of him inside me. Ethan felt the ground slip beneath him. So I can't give you the whole of me, she finished. He closed his eyes. Maya, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I didn't want to hurt you. You already did. I'm sorry. He waited for the anger, but none came. Only sadness. Deep, swallowing sadness. Take care, Ethan, she whispered. The line went dead. Just like that. The love that never became love was over before it began. Months passed. Ethan buried himself in work. Maya vanished from his life completely. Sometimes he walked by the Charles River and wondered if she ever came there. Sometimes he picked up a pencil to sketch and remembered the way she held hers. Sometimes he sat in the cafe where they first talked, waiting for a miracle that never arrived. Heartbreak isn't always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, soft, slow. The pain of losing someone you almost had hurts more than losing someone you fully had, because there is no closure, no explanation, no ending, just what if. Spring came. One afternoon, Ethan boarded a train, tired after work, and saw her, Maya, sitting alone, holding her sketchbook, just like the first time. Their eyes met. 1,000 emotions rushed in. She smiled softly, a sad smile. Hi, Ethan. Hi. He sat beside her. I heard you moved to Berlin, he said. I did, she replied. Liam got a job there. I followed him. You're together? Yes, he nodded. She looked away. He looked down. The train moved quietly. I wanted to say goodbye properly. She whispered, You deserve that. He didn't trust himself to speak. You were good to me, Ethan. Kinder than anyone I've known. But I wasn't in a place where I could love you right. He let out a shaky breath. It wasn't your fault, he said. It wasn't yours either. She closed her sketchbook. I hope one day someone loves you the way you deserve. He smiled, small, broken. I hope he loves you the way you wanted me to. Tears filled her eyes. She stood up as the train slowed. This is my stop. Maya, he whispered. Yes? Thank you for the sunsets, for the sketches, for the almost. She swallowed a sob. Goodbye, Ethan. He watched her walk away. He didn't call after her. He didn't chase her. Some stories aren't meant to be fought for. Some stories end exactly where they should.